Hey gang, it is I, DrBossKey. Today I thought I'd share with you a new feature we're just adding to the DrBossKey Shoot'em Up. So basically, this feature is a sparkly secret, and when you fly over to the sparkly secret and you stay within a certain area of the secret itself, then the countdown triggers, and after a 3, 2, 1, then you get some bonus goodies. So you can hook anything else you want up to this, of course. So I thought I would maybe run you through it and show you the way we wound up implementing this. So first of all, let's show you what it does. So here, you may or may not notice. So here we have these little sparklies. So I had the game paused there. And so the sparklies are just to catch your kind of catch your attention, but I wanted them to be small enough and subdued enough to where you could miss them in the chaos, right? So, but if you're flying around and you see this, then this would give you an indicator to potentially go check it out. And when you do that, a couple things happen. One is if you stay in the area, a countdown occurs, and you can see that we got bonus lost soul bits, and we got an extra ship. So the other thing that is important to know is that if you fly over to it and you fly off before the countdown completes, then the whole thing disappears and you lose the opportunity to get the secret. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to encourage the player to get the secret, but also to only have just a little bit of wiggle room to dodge bullets, to dodge enemies. So kind of deciding when to engage with the secret as well. And when the camera is moving, you have to also stay in place, right? So not super difficult, but yeah, so how about I walk you through the way we set that up? All right, so we had two versions here. This is a more consolidated version of just me pulling everything together. And this is the expanded version. So first off, we start with a trigger. And this trigger is set to switch mode, and it's connected to an enemy, and the enemy state is all alive. So this is important because what this does is when, let's see, is it this? Yeah, okay. So what this does is because okay, here we go. All right. So what this basically does is that when the enemy is alive, so basically the circular outline, the indicator that appears when you come into this trigger volume, so the player flies in the trigger volume, it activates this enemy. We wound up using an enemy so we could script a little bit of additional logic to that. And what we have is we have a listener, which is this, connected to this enemy state on this trigger, and it's set to switch mode. So then what happens is when the player comes into the area effect area, right? That area effect wakes up this enemy. So the enemy comes awake. And the way it works in Shmup Creator is if the player comes into this volume and then they leave the volume and you're set to switch mode, it will then send another signal, the opposite of whatever it started. So in our case, what happens is that if you fly in and fly out, then it's going to kill essentially this enemy type. But if the enemy type does not die immediately, then we do this logic here. So we come back to the switch mode, the trigger connected to enemy state is all alive. And then when we pop down to here, we set up a countdown timer to 0.1 milliseconds in this case. That's just so we can trigger the logic and have one small pause between when the trigger logic wants to activate and then what the next step is. So, and then we trigger the number 3, just a text object. It's also set to switch mode. I want to make sure, I don't think I need to do this, but I set up this way so that when you leave, and I think it's just a different type of logic, that everything could be turned off. So so we set the number 3 here. We set it to world position, so we can set it inside of the area effect. And then we have a little bit of a fade in just because it looks nice there. And then we have the transition for the fade out as well. So, and then from there, we also trigger pretty much at the same time, coming from here, the sound for the little boop when you're, it's basically a countdown sound that you heard when it goes from 3, 2, 1. Right now, there is an issue with in the engine, so I didn't necessarily want these to be 3D sounds, but they are for now because when they're not checked, the volume is too quiet. All right, and then after that, so that's the countdown for 3, and then we basically do the same thing. We come down here now, roughly about a second in between each of the numbers that appear, and then we go to the 2, another countdown, and then we drop down to here. So after another second, we trigger the 1. The 1 we shortened a tiny bit on duration for the in, duration out, and we set the on-screen duration to 8 because I wanted it to disappear, have the audio for it, and just a little bit of fudging, so then the visuals and the audio line up a little closer to the way I wanted it to aesthetically. And then we have and then the countdown tone, and then from there, as we're on the number 1, we do a couple things. So one is we come down to here and we set a duration that's a little bit longer, another timer in this case, and this one is set to 1.2 seconds in this case. And that does, essentially that does the kill condition, which destroys the enemy, which isn't because we want to clean up after ourselves when you've completed it. That also triggers a very short 0.2 seconds, 0.2 seconds. And then that gives you the announcer sound for the secret found. That also triggers the effects. So we have an effects indicator here in the combined version, which this gives you a bunch of hearts, which you can see. And then from there, we come down to the bottom piece of logic here. After a second, then we triggered the countdown final. So this is a slightly different tone, and I wanted that to play right as the number 1 was disappearing. So the other thing that is important is maybe coming back up to here. So we talked about this. So the connection to entity state is all dead. Okay, yeah. So this is connected to the enemy as well. So when this enemy is killed, either by backing out of the circle or leaving the circle, or if you've completed the countdown, then we have a trigger, all dead. It goes over to this kill condition, and this basically also then kills this enemy type. So we created the sparkle as an enemy type as well, so we could then have these conditional bits of logic. So, and that just means that in either case, because this is the condition here, then it cleans up the shiny bit, because we wouldn't want the shiny bit to still be on screen and not be able to do anything with it. So so that's the expanded version. I did a very quick Photoshop, well, super relatively quick. I do it for my own edification. A new little pro tip for you guys too. So here I basically just created one big image. And I stepped through all the pieces of logic because I have to implement this now 7 times after this level, because I want a couple, not crazy amounts, but I want some secret bits to be in all the levels. So I want players to get used to looking for those, and then to maybe trigger different things. Maybe an extra life is one thing, could be special item plates. But yeah, so we're getting closer to the end of the game when we're starting to implement our secrets. So, and then over here, basically, I've collapsed all the logic. So you can see here, it's all expanded here for explaining purposes. And then all the audio, all the text, some of the VFX, they all appear here in the center of the secret circle. Yeah, so I think that's it. No, strangely enough, I don't know why my hearts flew away there, but what small things. All right, okay, cool. Let's see. I think that's it. I hope everyone enjoyed sort of a peek behind the way that we want to do the implementation. Feel free to leave comments or improvements in the comments. We haven't play tested it yet. That'll be the next build, but we'll see how people actually play with it, whether they like it or not. This is a bit more on the adventure shmup kind of thing, kind of side of things. But you could use this logic to trigger all kinds of different kinds of conditions. All right. Thank you everybody very much for following the channel, for the subscribes, for all the sharing, the play testing. It's been remarkable. It's been fantastic to be on this journey. And to the rest of everyone else, thank you very much. We'll see you next time.